Hello and welcome to the Album Man, and today I'm going to be doing another one in my monthly segments of CDs I bought recently, and this time for April 2012. Well, I suppose it should be called CDs and vinyls, especially this month as I did get some vinyls. So, I don't know, I think we may as well start with the vinyls then. So, Emerson, Lake and Palmer's Pictures at an Exhibition, which is based on the classical music piece of, I think the same name possibly, by, is it Mussorgsky, something like that. I can't say I'm familiar with the piece, but yeah, it was pretty cheap, and I thought I'd pick it up. Sounded quite interesting, especially as I don't have any ELP and have been meaning to hear some for quite a while. Now, the next album, quite a funny story really. Right, this is an album by a guy, I'd like to show you the cover, or this cover, called Robert Palmer, okay, and it's called Double Fun, okay. Now, I have no idea who Robert Palmer is, okay? I've never heard any of his stuff, don't know what type of music he is. I've never even heard of him. So you might think, well, why did I bother buying some of his stuff? I'd like to tell you, before I found this, the Emerson, Lake and Palmer CD. So I assumed that this was the Palmer from ELP, and have subsequently found out that Carl Palmer was in ELP, and I bought this CD of some complete random guy who I've never heard of before, thinking it was the guy from ELP. So I might stick this on for a listen, see what the hell I bought, but yeah, not really that hopeful for it. Right, another interesting prog thing I bought, a Barclay James Harvest album. Been meaning to hear some of their stuff for a while, but never really got round to it, and especially this was only £1. I thought, why not, to be honest? It looks pretty cool, having some sort of owl in the cover, and yeah, I've been wanting to hear some some Barclay James Harvest, good old another 70s prog band. And now I found something I thought I should pick up. Buddy Holly 20 Greatest Hit Things. Now, one of my favourite songs of all time is American Pie by Don McLean, and it is all about Buddy Holly effectively dying in that plane crash. So I thought I should, hear the inspiration to one of my favourite songs of all time, and yeah, I'm going to give this a listen, definitely. Considering it was only £1, I thought it'd be worth it. I think I've heard some of the songs before, like Peggy Sue, but yeah, I think it'll be interesting. And now this is the real gem that I found, right? This is Camel's Nude on gatefold vinyl, and I just love Camel. I think they are such an underrated 70s prog band, and yeah, I just love them. And this is a concept album, and by reading the concept, it seems like Camel were trying to do their own version of Pink Floyd's The Wall. It has some similar-esque themes. I mean, it's, it doesn't have anything to do with building a wall, but it has to do with a character called Nude, who I assume is sort of maybe this guy here, and about him in wars, and yeah, it seems like they were trying to, except this is only a single album, it's not a double, but yeah, it seems interesting, a concept album by Camel, one of my favourite prog bands, so really excited to pick this up for only a few £. Okay, so that concludes the vinyls, not too many, but still, Okay, so we'll start off with, the CDs. So I got Dragon Force's The Power Within, the new Dragon Force album, and if you can see, it's actually signed by the bands themselves, all of them, because I went to a signing in Manchester, and that was really cool. They were all really nice, especially Herman Lee. And I even got them to sign my copy of Inhuman Rampage, which was awesome. And even Mark Hudson signed it, even though ZP Fiat sings on it, but okay, whatever. And then the other new album I picked up this month was Hailstorms: A Strange Case Of, and this is the special edition, because I just felt like indulging an extra quid to get some bonus tracks, and even though the bonus tracks aren't that good, still. For the packaging, I suppose it might have been worth the extra quid. Wasn't exactly much. And then from CX, which I usually get a lot of stuff, I only got one CD this month, and that was an 18 Visions album, all nice and pink, if you can see it, called Vanity, and that was £1. And they're one of those bands I quite like. I discovered them by, I was looking at CX, and I had a spare quid after buying a couple of albums, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to pick up a band at random, an album that cost £1 from the, rock metal section, and, buy it and just see what they're like. So I found an 18 Visions album, never heard of them before, didn't know any of their stuff, called, let me see, called Obsession, and let me just get it, called Obsession, and bought it for £1, and I actually thought it was a really good album. I mean, well, not really good, I thought it was a pretty decent album, and I do listen to it from time to time. It's a good album, so I thought for another £1 I may as well buy the, other album of theirs. They seem to have split up now. I don't know how many albums they have, but hey, for £1, you can't really go wrong for a whole album. And then when I was getting the Dragon Force stuff, I found this great shop in Manchester, which instead of HMV's 2 for 10, it does 2 for 5. So I thought I'd expand my Metallica collection a bit and get the special edition of Garage Incorporated, and also Kill 'Em All, which I've been meaning to hear for such a long time, because I only know a couple of songs from it: Seek and Destroy, Whiplash, and I think I know the Four Horsemen as well. But yeah, do love Metallica and plan to do a discography of theirs soon. And then I managed to find a car boot sale, Foo Fighters album 1 by 1 for £1, and this album has stuff like All My Life, Times Like These. Yeah, I love the Foo Fighters. Can't say I liked Wasting Light. I think I should do a review of that, because I really want to voice my opinion on that album. But yeah, All My Life's always been one of my absolute all-time favourite Foo Fighters songs, but The Pretender's the best, and Echo Silence, Patience, Grace is the best album. And then, when I was getting my vinyls, in a shop not too far away, I managed to find another Camel album, this time Breathless, probably the most expensive album I got, and yeah, I've listened to it. It's pretty decent. It's not quite as good as Mirage, because Mirage is just amazing, but yeah, it's a decent 70s prog album, and still I'm pleased to own it. It's Camel. And yeah, something I was very happy to have picked up was Pink Floyd, the Experience Edition. So been wanting that album, and it was really worth it for the works in progress. And this is quite interesting. This has a lenticular cover. You can't see. This is called Before Elf, There Were Elves. If you don't know, Elf was Ronnie James Dio's band before anything really. It was his first proper band. And apparently before Elf, there was a band called The Elves, who consisted of all the same people as Elf. And Elf also consisted Rainbow, except for the lead guitarist was sacked and Richie Blackmore replaced him, for only the original then. Yeah, Rainbow, it's a long story of members. But yeah, this is The Elves. Quite interested to hear this, not quite sure what to expect. But I'm expecting this sort of rock and roll, to be honest. But yeah, I think it'll be quite interesting. And another Dio album I got, the special edition of Dehumanizer, which is a heavier Black Sabbath Dio album. Certainly heavier than Heaven and Hell and Mob Wars. More like The Devil You Know, which was the last album Dio ever released. I also got Stayed, their self-titled album. Been meaning to hear this for such a long time. I adore Stayed, pretty big Stayed fan, and I like their softer stuff, really, like Believe and It's Been a While and Pardon Me. I loved the album before this, Illusion of Progress. And yeah, I've listened to this. It's got some good songs. It also has the worst song they ever released, which is Wannabe. That's just, I don't even want to talk about that. Might review it in the future. And now probably my oddest thing that I decided to pick up was the Kaiser Chiefs Future is Medieval. It doesn't quite fit in with the Western stuff, especially all the 70s prog I've bought. But you know what? I like the Kaiser Chiefs. They were the second concert I ever went to was the Kaiser Chiefs. Don't want to talk about the first. Yeah, that's not a band I'm proud to say they were my first concert. I'm sure I'll talk about it in a later video though. But yeah, I have all the Kaiser Chiefs albums. I do still listen to them though. Probably my second favourite indie bands. I only really like two, which are The Killers and the Kaiser Chiefs. And yeah, The Killers' Better Day and Age was a wonderful album and can't wait for the new album. But yeah, I thought I'd give this a listen. By what I've heard, the singles and stuff, it sounds like it's going to be awful, just like Off With Their Heads was appalling. But I'll still, I mean, this was only like £2 off Amazon. It's that cheap, considering it was released last year. But I'm just always hoping there'll be that glimpse of Yours Truly, Angry Mob and Employment. That's all I'm looking for. I'm just looking for one song out of these that reminisces me of Ruby, or Na Na Na, or I Predicted Wyatt, or any of those classic songs. So, this has been CDs I bought recently for April 2012, and this has been the Album Man. Hope you enjoyed. Comment, rate, subscribe, and as usual, long live rock and roll.